That comment that JBL made about David Otunga and his wife, Jennifer Hudson, Oscar winner, I might add, to come to The Miz for an acting class and maybe they can learn from The Miz. I'm wondering whether or not the JBL knows who Jennifer Hudson is and remembers that she actually won an Oscar for her performance in Dreamgirls. I'm wondering whether or not it's going to be a WTF moment that King Ross is going to point out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Come on, John. Guys, every single week, I actually do look forward to seeing SmackDown more so than Raw. Because SmackDown has a little bit more substance to it than Raw does. Raw has a completely full roster, while SmackDown may have bare bones, but they're working with what they have so much better. The one thing I loved about SmackDown is they actually are trying to do something with their women's division. They actually had a contract signing with Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss for the women's title on No Mercy in October. And I love that. I love the fact they're trying to put the women in the forefront like Raw used to do. But Raw has such a full roster that they have to fit everybody in a certain period of time. But unfortunately, they're not really doing so well with it. But I loved how they actually did have Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss out there. The banter between both of them was amazing. Alexa Bliss is an amazing heel, as well as Becky Lynch being a really great underdog babyface. I enjoy that. I really do. She's improved so greatly on the mic. It really does make me happy and excites me every time she talks because it makes that belt worth something. At first, I'm not going to lie, I thought that having a heel to take the title will put a lot more heat on it and make the belt seem important, which is true. But Becky Lynch has done such an amazing job being a babyface that I'm okay with her having a belt. I always was. I mean, I'm happy that she was able to get her, to get her title. I wanted to wait to the Big Four pay-per-view, but I'm fine with it now. I mean, she's an amazing babyface. She's making that belt look like it's worth something. And that is what the importance is that the person or the character is supposed to give the belt some worth, not so much about the belt actually having worth, even though there are some belts that have a lot of history on them. This is a brand new belt, and when a brand new belt comes out, you got to establish it, and you got to establish it with a character that will bring it out and make it look like the diamond that it is. Becky Lynch has done just an amazing job with it, and I'm happy and I'm excited to see her match between Alexa Bliss and her match with Alexa Bliss on No Mercy. But honestly, guys, this was a pretty decent show. But there's also one little gripe that I have, and that is because that's Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has been downgraded so many times. He has lost so many important matches to where that his promos mean nothing anymore. It really doesn't. It doesn't strike the hearts or fear or make you tingle in the back of your neck because you're gonna know he's going to lose to Randy. There's no way that Randy is going to allow anybody to go over on him. Not after what Brock Lesnar did. And it's a shame that that had to happen with Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt needs the wins more than anyone else. But unfortunately, he is not going to get them. And that's the one thing that really makes me sad. And I hope that that does change soon because you really do want somebody like Bray Wyatt to be taken seriously, which means he has to have an epic win and an amazing match against a legend. He has to, Randy Orton has to lose to Bray Wyatt in order to give Bray Wyatt some credibility. But will Randy Orton do it? Will he actually allow himself to lose again against Bray Wyatt? I don't know, man. I really don't know. And it really does make me really sad to see what's happening to his character. Because his character is the most interesting, I guess, the most enigmatic, mysterious character that you have not seen before. Yeah, you've seen a lot of psycho heels. But he is the most interesting psycho heel I have ever seen. And I hope they do something with them. I don't want the Wyatt family just to phase out. I want them to be a strong, dominant faction. I want the Wyatt family to be a strong, dominant faction. I want Bray Wyatt to be a strong, dominant psycho heel. That's just me. But moving on to another gripe that I have. And I'm just now, I guess I've kind of known this for a while, but Dolph Ziggler is the SmackDown equivalent of Roman Reigns. What I mean by that is this. For this past Raw, Roman Reigns got screwed out of the Universal title, not only by Triple H, but also in another match. This guy ended up being rewarded a U.S. title match. He ended up getting a U.S. title match against Rusev when him and Rusev already had a decent feud going on. And it actually was a heated feud between the both of them. But now he's getting a title match for a title he doesn't want. The one thing I can say about Dolph Ziggler is that Dolph Ziggler actually does want the IC belt. But Dolph Ziggler has lost multiple times and he has not really earned the title shot. But he keeps getting the title shot against The Miz. Now, even though The Miz has an amazing match against Dolph Ziggler every single time, it's not really worth anything if you know he's going to lose. The match can go on for 10 minutes, but if it's going to have the same outcome that you predict, then why do it multiple times? But this time Maurice didn't really help because Maurice got kicked out. But of course you had The Miz having the banaka in his shorts, pulling it out and spraying Dolph Ziggler in the face, causing Dolph Ziggler to lose. The thing of it is, we know it's going to be an amazing match because these two happen to be best friends, and best friends always put on the best matches. But we know it's going to be the same outcome, so it doesn't make any sense to actually have this happening. But that's just me personally. But even though I think that Dolph Ziggler is an amazing performer and he should have at least a few titles under his belt because he doesn't have many, not this way. If they want to build him up as an underdog, build him up as an underdog. They did a really great job with Heath Slater. They need to do the same thing with Dolph if they're really serious about it. But speaking of Heath Slater, you got him and Rhino in a feud with the Usos. I like the Usos' new flavor. You can actually tell them apart now. You can tell that Jimmy is more hip hop while Jay is more thug now with the whole shirt out and everything else. But other than that, I like the new flavor of the Usos. They just come straight out. No more of the whole Samoan chants. They just come out straight up, beat people up, and leave. I like Usos like that. I really like the Usos like that. And I really do. I'm gonna enjoy their feud. I really am. But the one thing that makes me sad is they have multiple tag teams, and the other tag teams are just being excluded from this. The one mantra, I guess you could say mantra, but the one thing that the commish, Shane McMahon as well as Daniel Bryan stated that this was going to be a show that's going to not exclude people, but actually be all about the superstars. What happened to the other tag team divisions? Seriously, what happened to the tag team division as a whole? There are many other tag teams on SmackDown that actually have been underutilized. And yes, I am talking about the Vaudevillains because I love me some Vaudevillains, but unfortunately they are not getting much love lately, as well as the Ascension. I think the Ascension's on there. I don't know. But they do have other tag teams on SmackDown. What happened to them? They just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And Heath Slater's being promoted a lot more. But then you got the Usos being promoted with Heath Slater. But I'm kind of okay with that because you don't want to have your storyline oversaturated with feuds. You want to have at least one feud at a time to where it won't completely burn everybody out. And then after that feud ends, then transition to something else. I'm fine with that. I think that's what they really do need to do. Instead of having so many feuds happening all at once, they actually do need to do one feud at a time, and I'm fine with that. But I'm hoping they actually use the other tag teams that they actually have on the roster. Just saying about that. But then we also have the main event. Now, I'm not going to really talk much about the women's because there's really nothing much to talk about the women's because it was supposed to be a match between Natty and Carmella versus Nikki Bella and Naomi. And here's the thing that kind of bugs me too. They keep trying to make Carmella a thing. Just like Hollywood tries to make Jai Courtney a thing. But Jai Courtney ended up becoming a thing when Suicide Squad came out. Carmella would never be a thing because her gimmick is so out of date. The Jersey Shore gimmick has died in the mid-2000s. It only worked when she was with Enzo and Cass. It does not work anymore. She gets no response with the current gimmick that she has. She is not being taken seriously. Don't get it twisted. She had a really great match with Bayley when she was on NXT. but she needs to change her gimmick up. You can make her a heel all you want, but if you don't get a response out of the heelness that she pulls off, then she needs to make some changes here. That entire Jersey Shore fabulous Queen of Staten Island gimmick is dead. It died in the mid 2000s. It's time to make something different, something new. Have yourself as a serious performer, just like how Trish used to be a vamp when she first started out, but then she started taking herself seriously as a performer with amazing feuds. Well, mostly her best feud definitely was between her and Lita. But that was when she was being taken seriously, and she dropped that whole vamp gimmick. At this point, Carmella needs to do the exact same thing with hers. It's just not working. They need to just let her know, hey, you gotta switch it up in order to get some kind of response. But they keep trying to make her a thing, and it's just not working. And I'm hoping that somehow they'll change their minds, and they will actually allow her, not even allow her, they'll change their minds and actually be like, look, this gimmick isn't working. Why don't we give you a few suggestions? Do it that way. Seriously, because what you're doing, what she's doing is just not working. It isn't. It's not working at all, and it's not going to work. But let's move on to the main event. I was actually somewhat surprised to see John Cena lose clean to Dean Ambrose, but it actually does kind of heat up, it actually does kind of heat up the feud a little bit. What I mean by that is John Cena has always, they kind of poke fun at John Cena for being gone for so long, the fact that he might have a little bit of ring rust. This actually does enhance the feud. But the fact that John Cena lost against Dean Ambrose it kind of sets up for some kind of it kind of sets up the fact that they can actually say that John Cena may not have what it takes to actually take the belt anymore. And it could be it. I doubt that John Cena wants to beat Ric Flair's record, because I don't think that he can handle the heat between everybody going down his throat for beating Ric Flair's record. Ric Flair's record is a record that nobody wants anyone to touch. I doubt that he's going to go 17. If he does, I will be extremely shocked. But at this point, it seems like that John Cena is on his way out, and he's actually but he's actually looking to promoting new stars and allowing new stars to pass him. And I'm noticing that now, especially with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. So I find this feud interesting, especially with AJ Styles coming out there and knocking down Dean Ambrose, because I think that when John Cena is gone, these two are going to go at it again. And I'm fine with that. I really am. And I think this is going to be a well done feud. I am looking forward to No Mercy. And No Mercy is 2 weeks away, probably 2-3 weeks away. And they're doing an amazing job getting people hyped up. Except for one thing, I don't necessarily like I don't like how they actually have the background for the No Mercy card. It looks like a glamour shot. That's the only problem that I have. For those that remember glamour shots, especially in high school, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you look at the card, they actually did show for No Mercy for the card recaps. It looks like the background of a glamour shot, and it bugs the crap out of me. It does not look sinister. It does not look hardcore. It just looks like a glamour shot. It bugs the crap out of me. But other than that, I'm looking forward to see No Mercy. I think it's going to be a really great pay-per-view. And you can tell that even though that Smackdown has bare bones, they are working with what they have. And I respect that brand even more now, more so than Raw. Not to mention it's 2 hours, and it's 2 hours of amazing action. So I have no problem with that. I actually enjoy Smackdown far more than Raw. And it's not exhausting to watch. So honestly, guys, I am all for this SmackDown as well as for the pay-per-view, and I think it was a really good show. They did an amazing job promoting their pay-per-view as well as putting the women in the forefront in the opener and having a really good match towards the end of the night. I enjoyed it. I think it was great. Yeah, there were a few gripes here and there, but it wasn't enough to actually take me out of the show. So I think they really did a great job. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts about this. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the SmackDown and what you would change anything, or whether or not you think the card would be good for No Mercy. I want to hear your thoughts about SmackDown Live. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.